It's time to do business again. Welcome to Business Incorporated. We have 25 minutes to go around the updates from the world of business, and here's what we have prepared for you. Ahead of G20 summit, which South Africa is hosting, they're bringing up issues that will be discussed, and most of all, they plan to use the platform to boost investment and tourism. The challenge of oil pollution is still a major one in Nigeria. There might be a new way to solve the problem. The gathering is big in Brazil. Nigeria's vice president is already there, and the pre-COP30 meetings have started. Welcome to the program. I'm Ini John Mekwa. Let's start as usual with oil prices that edged lower on Tuesday as OPEC Plus decision to pause output hikes in the first quarter of next year, along with weak manufacturing data and a stronger dollar, is weighing on the market. So we see for this afternoon, crude futures is up 0.70%. That's for Brent to $64.89. WTI, however, is also on the same tone, but the price is $61.02 a barrel, despite the current dip in oil prices. Before now, the sanctions on Russia's Rosneft and Lukoil could continue providing some price support in the near term, according to traders there. Meanwhile, the dollar hovered near a 3-month high as a divided Federal Reserve on whether or not to cut rates again in December has prompted traders to rein in interest rate cuts wagers. And talking about oil now, let's say in Nigeria, where the consequences of oil production has left bitter pills in the mouth of many Nigerians. Talking about the issue of oil spill, for instance, in the country, there's been a recorded between 9 to 13 million barrels of crude oil that have been spilled in the Niger Delta ecosystem since oil production began in 1958, and about 7,000 incidents annual average, and this averages to about 240,000 barrels of crude oil spilled every year. What a waste. And then between January 2019 and April 2021, the government regulator NOSTRA, they recorded 881 spill incidents, totaling about 43,000 barrels. Also in 2024, that's the most recent, Nigeria recorded at least 589 oil spills in 2024, resulting in about 19,000 barrels of oil spilled. This shows a decrease from 1,162 spills recorded in 2023. Major causes: sabotage, oil theft, vandalism are major drivers of this unfortunate incident, which is costing the country a whole lot. Now, let's discuss perhaps a new way to do things that may be able to solve this problem with Anthony Igbigbi. Is a waste management expert, joins us virtually from Delta State. Hi, Anthony. Good afternoon and welcome to the program.
Good afternoon and thanks for having me here.
Great. So this issue of oil spill, maybe to some Nigerians who are not exactly staying close to the Niger Delta area, the reality is not so much. For you, you are in Delta states, you are into dealing with all of this oil pollution. What's the reality? What's the impact that people face every day when we talk about oil pollution?
Well, thank you. From my end, what we see here is extremely disastrous. You know, in this area, these our farmlands, our rivers, and our fishing area are very closely connected to all these drilling sites, even offshore and onshore. So there's every tendency for spill into our land and our water, which has really destroyed our environment in extreme cases where farmers can no longer use their farms, where the water are being polluted with hazardous contaminants. And it has really even affected the health of the personnel living around this area. So it's really something of great concern, and there's really need for an emergency to make sure that this thing are really handled properly and professionally with new technologies.
Yeah, talking about new technology, I hear something about solid controls and modern oil drilling operations. What's that about?
All right, solid control actually is a process of removing drill cuttings as well as waste from those substances that are drilled from the ground, including the chemical mixed using in drilling. So solid control, what they do actually is that they tend to remove those waste and reduce any hazardous substance that is later going to be discharged, because the waste coming out from these drilling processes are really extreme and much, and there's need for specialized way to treat these waste before you can dispose them properly. And there are several technologies which are on ground, and as a solid control expert, and I've experienced it firsthand, and we have used it, and it has worked, and it has really helped in reducing the discharge and the pollution we are facing in these areas.
So that means it's already operational in Nigeria, but is it widely adopted?
Yes, many companies are adopting these different technologies, but there's still need for the campaign for it to go around so that everybody around can really use it to limit and reduce extremely this impact of disposal of this oil polluted waste around our environment, because it's really hurting our environment. You could see farmers not be able to go to their farms. You see waters being polluted. You see fishermen can't even have a livelihood of going to the river to fish and feed their family. And this is even affecting the economy, because not being able to fish and sell, farmers not being able to go to their farms, it turns back and affects our economy in this country.
So are you saying that this solids control will stop this pollution that we're talking about, or it will just reduce it, limit it?
There is many fronts to really discuss and handle these issues, because apart from using modern technologies to try to reduce and dispose this thing properly according to regulation standard, there's still need for government intervention in policies and inspections of all these drilling sites to ensure that everything is done according to regulation standards. So apart from these technologies, there's need for training, there's need for more research, research into pollution units that can be accepted into the environment. So there are different fronts this thing can be fought, but in the aspect of solid control equipment, it has really reduced this effect to a good level, if I can say that for now.
Yeah, so I mean, the world is talking about sustainability even as we speak. World leaders are in Brazil, for COP30 and all of that. So everybody's talking about sustainability. Sustainable drilling in this case, what does that look like?
Well, when you say sustainable drilling, it's really hard to see where we can get it 100% correct, because from what I see from my own front end, I can see that the companies, they are trying, but because of lack of in-house inspection, they will choose to forego most of these guidelines in aspect of profit. When you put profit and the guidelines, and without proper inspection, they will just choose to go for profit. So there is every need for the government to really enforce inspections in order for the sustainability of all these new modern technologies to be enforced, like in other modern countries.
And I know being technology, it will obviously be capital intensive, and these companies will need help in that area.
If I may say, Fighting or doing the proper disposal of waste, it also benefits this company in a way, because if you are properly treating your waste, definitely you are going to have lesser waste. And if you're having lesser waste, means you are going to have lesser disposal costs and transportation of those waste produce. So it will really benefit them. And there's an aspect of recycling. If you are recycling these drilling fluids and some of all these things used, some chemicals used in drilling, it will really go a long way, because those chemicals are very expensive. So if you really focus on waste management and proper disposal and working with the government, you will really end up helping your own company, because you'll be able to save enough through recycling, save enough through disposal costs, and you will even help yourself by evading non-compliance fees and legal battles for improper disposing. So it's a win-win for everybody if they can only just stick to the standard of doing things.
All right, Anthony. Anthony Igbe is a waste management expert. Thank you so much for sharing your time and thoughts with us this afternoon.
Thank you very much.
All right, so moving on now, let's see what's happening with metals. We see gold prices fell more than 1% as the dollar hit 3-month highs, while traders are waiting more signals. We're talking about economic data as well as cues of the Federal Reserve's direction. So we see spot gold is down 1.5%, 309.32. U.S. gold is 1.7% in the red, $3,945.10 per ounce. Spot silver 1.3% in the red, $47.45. Platinum 1.2% in the red, $1,546.88. Palladium more than 3% down, lost, but the price is still around 1,400. Right there. Of course, the dollar is driving this. The dollar index traded at a 3-month high, making gold more expensive. Although U.S. Central Bank cut interest rate last week, Fed Chair Jerome Powell is suggesting that the reduction in borrowing costs might be the last for the year. And of course, we see a lot of reactions following that. Let's head to Brazil now, where our vice president, as the vice president of Nigeria, Kashim Shettima, has arrived in Brazil to represent President Bola Ahmed Tinubu for the 30th session of the United Nations Climate Change Conference, COP30, which is hosted in the capital city of Para, located in the heart of Brazilian Amazon. The summit, convened by Brazil's president in collaboration with international partners, brings together world leaders, development partners, and business executives under the theme Climate Action and Implementation, with particular emphasis on adaptation, forest, biodiversity, and climate justice. This year's COP30 comes 10 years after the Paris Agreement and will strengthen efforts on limiting global warming to 1.5 degrees centigrade through ambitious national climate plans and scaling up climate finance to $1.3 trillion annually for developing countries by 2035. A lot of this conversation you'll be getting from Channels Television. Our correspondent Ayola Kasim is there in Brazil, so you can expect in the coming days, as the meeting proper begins on Monday, that will be giving you updates and crossings with our correspondents and world leaders who are right there. All right, now let's see what the market numbers look like. I know earlier during business morning, Ladi had told us that the markets opened in the red, unfortunately, and that has been sustained to intraday, losing the 153,000 level. But I think that intraday also banking, which has been in the red for a lot of trading sessions now since last week, actually recovered. I see they'll sustain that recovery to the close of trade. But for intraday, it's down 0.04%. Johannesburg is, however, positive 0.38%. If we see for Egypt at this time, Egypt's numbers, Egypt is in the green, 0.39, while Nairobi closed yesterday in the red, 0.56%. Moving away from there, let's head to the Middle East. and see that Dubai is red this afternoon, still red from what they had yesterday. Abu Dhabi is also red, 0.45%, and still other markets on the region, Tadawul as well as Qatar, both in the red as intraday. Let's go to the United States now and see what the color is. But we do see the Dow Jones has recovered from what it had yesterday, but slightly that. But you know, Nasdaq is a lot of, especially for the Asian market, we see the impact of what's going on in the AI markets, and that's there. But S&P is also in the red. But let's join Maria Bird now to give us more details on trading yesterday.
The U.S. stock market tumbled on Tuesday as the Dow Jones was down at 0.5%. The S&P 500 also down at 1.2%. And the heavy tech Nasdaq led the way down at 2%. As many investors were watching AI valuations as there's speculation that they could be a bit elevated. And cryptocurrency continues to be down as well, as concerns over the U.S. government shutdown continue to loom. As many investors continue to watch to see how the U.S. economy will respond.
Thanks, Maria. Let's see what's happening in Asia. So the pullout in the AI market is really moving a lot of things in the Asian market. So we see that the Nikkei had a big loss, 2.5% at the close of trade. The Kospi is also down, even worse than that, almost 3%. The Hang Seng is also down, but not as much as the other markets. Let's see if India, for instance, will be able to escape. No, India could not escape it this time. So it's in the red, except for the Shanghai. Shanghai was able to make it a little bit to the green, 0.23% at this time. But let's see what's happening with investors in Europe. As Lars joins us. Hi, Lars. Good afternoon. What's the sentiment in the market in Europe at this time?
Yeah, good afternoon, Ini. I have to throw some more red at your wall here. Pretty much all the European indices down a bit. Britain, France, Spain, and the DAX in Frankfurt actually down slightly more even. Currently, it's about 0.5%. It used to be a little more early in this session. Now, listening around a bit, however, it almost feels like after yesterday's losses, this is not so much the market looking for direction anymore, but maybe it is finding a direction, which would be down, and that's as Asian markets that you just pointed out are steeply dropping. There's talk about an AI bubble. In America, there's talk of an AI bubble, and Maria Bird, of course, just said that people are concerned with slightly elevated levels. People do see it a bit more dramatic here, so it's not just highly elevated, but people are really afraid that a bubble might be bursting, and that does affect sentiment on European markets as well.
Well, I don't know who's initiating this bubble. I don't know if it's artificial or real, but I mean, I guess as they say, you buy on rumors and sell on the news, and that's what's really moving sentiment at this time. But away from that, there's a survey on the German economy and talks with the managers on the results of that survey.
Yeah, you know, there with regards to that survey, I got bad news once again, unfortunately. Not like we're not used to that here. It's sad because that survey gives Germany and the German economy pretty much bad marks all around. This Mohammed El Arian is one of the top economists at Deutsche Bank, and he says that the risk that Germany is further losing ground to the US and China is very high. And then another economist at DZ Bank, that is Germany's second biggest lender, he says that the positive momentum that we've seen earlier this summer has gone, and that we're in a phase of resignation with investors becoming more and more impatient. Now, for some context here, when the analysts are saying that the mood was better in early summer, Ini, that was pretty much when US President Donald Trump started a trade war with much of the world, and when he threatened to withhold funding from universities. That is when many in Germany had high hopes that companies might move business from the US over to Germany, and that maybe German universities could attract talent that didn't want to deal with uncertainty in the US. However, all that never happened. That's according to some analysts here, and we've really seen that none of that has happened.
Yes, but how come Germany was not able to benefit as much as it had hoped to?
Well, Ini, it's mostly because Germany has not really been that great a place to invest in recent years already. And the fact that the Merz government promised to improve a lot, but in the end, they didn't yet. Let's look at the years-long problems first. Among the structural problems many have diagnosed for the German economy are, of course, high energy prices, high taxes and contributions to the social systems. There's lots of bureaucracy. There's little flexibility in labor markets. Lots of that was supposed to be subject to reforms by the new government, but it turned out there was a lot more talk than action, and that forces many global investors now to reconsider their strategy. A few months ago, a Treasury Secretary here, Lars Klingbeil, he said that investors are queuing up for Germany, and now investment experts at all the big banks are saying that they've become impatient, those investors, and are looking more towards the US again, where especially, of course, tech and AI-related fields are seeing tremendous growth. Although, of course, as we just said, there's almost a little too much growth there, but still that's where investors are putting their focus on right now.
Yeah, a little too much growth. That's why we're talking of the burst. But I guess the new government came in and they saw the reality. There are consequences for everything. But I mean, I do wish and hope that they can find ways to balance it and get more investors into Germany. Thank you so much, Lars.
Let's hope so. Thank you, Ini.
Okay, now let's head to the crypto space. And I mean, Bitcoin has been really bullish, bearish. But I mean, hours ago, earlier today, Bitcoin was 101,000. So at least it's gone up to 102,000. I don't know if we're still on our way up or there's another drop that's coming. But in 24 hours, Bitcoin has lost 1.36%, bringing the price now to 102,630.32. Ethereum also, it might be a good buy for you at this time, knowing that Ethereum had stayed on 4,000 level for a while. So probably it's going back there. So if you enter the market now, you may just be making some profit in a bit. XRP and a whole lot Cardano are in the red also. A little bit of more green that we had this time yesterday. Now, two headlines in the crypto space. Liquidations top $2 billion. The market saw a sharp decline on Tuesday, losing approximately $250 billion in value as Bitcoin and Ethereum tumbled amid global economic uncertainty. This reflects a 5% daily loss and a 10% decline over the past week. Bitcoin now trades nearly 20% below its all-time high of 126,000 that was set October 6, 2025. Also, another story is Metaplanet. Metaplanet has secured $100 million loan. It's a Japan-based investment firm focused on Bitcoin treasury operations. Secure that $100 million loan collateralized by its Bitcoin holdings. And the financing represents a significant expansion of the company's cryptocurrency-backed credit facilities using Bitcoin as collateral. I think that's a big story here. The loan structure allows Metaplanet to access traditional capital markets while maintaining its Bitcoin position, reflecting growing institutional acceptance of digital assets as collateral for corporate financing. Also, 44,000 Bitcoin millionaires have been added since President Trump came on board at the U.S. White House, because we know, of course, President Trump is friendly to the cryptocurrency, so that has brought in 44,000 Bitcoin millionaires. Are you one of them? Or you'll be before President Trump leaves office? Well, that's it for cryptocurrency and for the program today. Thank you so much for being a part of Business Incorporated. We appreciate your time. Do remember, you can always watch our programs, Business Morning, Business Incorporated, on our YouTube channel, and you will be glad that you did. I'm Minnie John Mekwa. I'll see you tonight for the Stock Market Report. Bye-bye.